red
There it
light
is.
pop up. There it is. You know what that means? That means we are live. What is up, everybody? We're back at it again. Welcome on this Sunday afternoon. And let me tell you something. It's an honor to have my man Peter Essaff here with us today. What is going on, man?
Oh, just hanging out, talking with you about sidecars. Sounds like fun.
Oh, yeah. Listen, it's going to be a proper Willie time. I can't wait to get into it. So, listen, let's just get into it. But I want to go from the very beginning, Peter. How did it all start for you?
I got a motorcycle when I was in high school, and prior to that, I did paper routes out in California. So I like to be on two wheels, and I used it for transportation, going back and forth to work for a few years after school. And of course, that meant that I'd go to the racetrack up Sears Point, Laguna Seca. They were local, get into watching the races, and that's where it all started for me. So
That's go
yeah,
ahead.
I bought my first bike in '72, and I bought my first sidecar in '77. So
So what made you want to get into sidecars? You just seen it, was like, that's awesome, I want to do it.
well, I used to ride up on the hill um, above San Mateo, and it's a little south of San Francisco, down to the coast and around Santa Cruz and all that. There was a group of guys that rode, and they all had leathers on. I had a Norton, and they kind of wouldn't let me ride with them because I was just a squid learning how to ride. So one weekend they weren't there, and I says, "Where were you guys?" He says, "Up at Sears Point racing AFM." I knew nothing about that. It was basically the nationals I was going to, and that included sidecars. So I kind of started going to that, and a couple of those guys actually rode sidecar. Wayne Luigi was one of them. So that's how I got introduced to sidecars.
And obviously, have you been the driver and the passenger on one of them?
Yeah, both. Started out as passenger, kind of like being a professional spectator.
Right. So what's it like for everybody listening? Me curious, Peter, because everybody knows the TT is by far, hands down, my favorite race of the year. Right. It's absolutely the most beautiful and brilliant thing you've ever seen. And I watch it all, sidecars and everything. And to me, the sidecar people are the most amazing out there, right? And it's I guess you guys call them the monkeys, right? On the side. They are they're very special human beings, right? And to me, every time I watch it, Peter, I'm sitting there just gripping onto my couch, sweating, right? I'm like, oh my God, this is it's way more intense to watch than the bikes. For me personally, because it's two people and your tires ain't motorcycle right there or wide, and you got the guy on the side. Just explain.
Well, as sidecars developed over the years, I started when they had narrow tires. So
Okay.
then they went into the formula tires. So you used to have a front exit. And when you went into turns faster, it was too hard to come forward. So they started going side to side. So the bikes you see at the Isle of Man are Formula 2 bikes, and they're powered by 600s. And they are lightning fast, and they have amazing brakes. So the passenger moves side to side behind the driver and behind the chair wheel and brace themselves for under the braking. And it's a pretty amazing opportunity to see a racetrack from that vantage point, you know. Not many people get to do it. Driver doesn't even see it the same way, you know.
I, I, are you guys allowed to take like a GoPro and put it on it as you guys do it? Is that legal?
At the TT, no.
Okay.
They're in charge of all the footage. But we do. I don't really run GoPros much on my bike because it takes time to get everything set up, and
Yeah.
you're always waiting for the passenger to go, "Oh, I got to turn this on and click this," and it's like, dude, we're racing, right? So I guess if you had a film crew with you, it'd make it a little easier. It could be pretty good. But we've had fun with what we put on the bike. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. And the whole sidecar thing to me is just super fascinating. I mean, it's obviously the handling's completely different. And so listen, I'm so curious about it. So tell me what's it actually like when you sit in the cockpit. We see it on TV, right? But is it like you're in there? There's not a lot of body movement, or you can move your body a lot, or
The older bikes allowed you to as a driver, even to lean, and get off the bike a little bit. But the newer ones, you all fit inside of them, so they're pretty well. You actually almost brace your shoulders and kind of get your arms so they don't, wobble around. But you're on your knees. Your knees are 4 inches off the ground, and you're leaning forward, so you're in a really comfortable. It's really, really a comfortable position. You're right down on the bike, and the Formula One bikes, the motor's behind you, so there's even more room to tuck into the fairing, and get down. And the vision that you see from a sidecar is like nothing else. I mean, maybe a go-kart, but you're still pretty far back. So the sidecar, your face is right above the front wheel virtually. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. And you can get close to people. You can see everything so good. And you get used to people who you're running with. So it's good to run close and have fun. And sometimes when you're learning and there's people around you that are a little bit more like squids, you give them a little extra space because you get sideways. You don't fall down.
Yeah.
Right. So you'll see someone, you could see what they're doing, their traction, they're losing traction. So you just give them a little bit extra space, but it's really fun to run in close quarters. And with Arma, we race all the years of sidecars in one race. So we share the track with Vintage. And after the third lap, you're lapping people and, they may be in a battle. They're going as hard as they can go. So, but a sidecar takes up a lot more space than a motorcycle. So 2 sidecars take up a real lot of space. So even a front straightaway is kind of sketchy sometimes, but it's fun. Our races are short. We get 2 races on a weekend, so it's really nice, and get a couple good practices in the morning so we don't tear up our tires too much. It's one of those kind of sports that you could just do for a long, long time if you're really careful. And I've been very lucky to be able to race since 1977 till now. And the tracks I've hit since I'm 60 years old, I've been to 21 tracks that I was never at prior to that. So it's pretty cool.
That amazing. I mean, I couldn't imagine. Like I said, Peter, every time I watch it, I try to visualize, as everybody does. I don't care what they say when they're watching the TT or their favorite race series, right? There comes a point where you vision, like, I wonder what it's like me sitting on the bike or the car or in the back, right? And trying to mimic their movements on the couch, all just serious and focused into it. It's to me.
Well, let me see how this works. I was a big David Letterman fan. So this is at Laguna Seca. Let me see, put it over here, right?
Yep.
Getting our tires changed by the same people that change Kenny Roberts tires. Goodyear's.
Nice.
And
nice.
To be able to have done that. So another thing that, let me see if I can get this right so you could all see this. There.
Oh,
that's my first sidecar.
Hold it up a little bit. Yep, there you go.
Is that good?
Yep.
And that's with Gary Geip driving. This is 1977, and down at Riverside, California. And then, so I figured if I show you just that I could explain to you, there's different. There we go. Okay, I think that's good. There's front exit with 16-inch spoked rims on front and rear, and a little Mini Cooper tire. This one here shows that Mini Cooper tire a little better. Right there.
Yeah,
on the chair wheel, see?
Yeah.
So no brake on the chair on this bike. But then you get to the point where you say, okay, let's go a little faster. And everyone else had better equipment. We bought something at $2,500. So this is getting back to the beginning of it for me, right? So I got to the point, even that year, it's just 3 races. We knew we wanted to go faster, so we did some modifications. We put the Goodyears on it. We were running a KZ1000, nothing special, but very reliable motor. And so over the winter, let me see here. I'll get the best picture I got. We turned it into this.
Hold it up a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
Does that show okay?
Yes, that thing is beautiful.
Yeah, so we enclosed the front part that comes in front of the chair wheel there.
Yeah, I see.
I stayed behind the chair. And I had this little platform out here that I went on to that was actually legal back in the day, but they don't allow it anymore. So we had to take that off. But so at that point though, when you get good, Gary's amazing. I could just do my job. And the point about teamwork is if you don't have a good passenger, you're not going to win a race. I mean, you can get through if someone can hang on just from pure sheer strength, but it really is, they drive the bike a lot, especially the bikes now. They control a lot. I had a passenger come over for England for the last race at Barber, and he's kicking the rear wheel around to get me going the right direction. I said, hey, dude, you don't have to do that. You know, I like to keep it a little bit more solid, but they slide over there. They just go crazy. So if the passenger can make it turn that last 15 degrees, he's on the gas, especially going up the hill at, say, Oliver's Mount, right? That's what they do. The passenger kicks the bike around, right? So I'm not to that level, and it was actually really fun. We set a lap record, Jake and me. It was pretty good, but getting from that point where I was comfortable on the front exit, all of a sudden you didn't have to go forward anymore. So it was actually an easier transition. And once you're in your position, you can look back. You could look around. You could see the spectators. You know, some turns are long. You could just sit out there and really enjoy what's going on around you because you could feel the bike and you could feel what it's doing. So, as I say, I was very lucky to get into the sport as an interested spectator, and I kind of consider myself still as a spectator. People do a lot of funny things around me. I get to watch it. It's really amazing. Sidecar racing.
That's great. So, what was it like? When did you get the idea to be like, hey, I want to go race the TT? How did that come about?
Yeah, that was really a funny thing because the year I started with Gary at the Nationals at the AMA was a pretty tragic year at the Isle of Man, 1978. And we had a shop in San Carlos, California, right across the street was a smoke shop. So we'd wait and run over there on Wednesday and get Motorcycle Weekly, which had all the information about everything. And back then I was a road racer before I started sidecar racing. I was up in the mountains. So it always kind of felt like it'd be something I'd want to do, but just because of how many people died there, you kind of think about things. This is, that's crazy. I'm never going to do that, right? And so I did not plan on doing that ever. But when I moved back east and raced back there for a while, there's a Canadian team that was going, and they told me they were going to go, and I says, I don't know, and they didn't qualify, and the passenger is a good friend of mine. He called me up. He says, Chris is going to quit. He's going to sell the bike. It's over in England, And he says, I'll buy the half of it if you drive it for me. And I go, oh my gosh, I don't know. So I said, I'll call you back. And we were stacking firewood in New Hampshire, right? And it was like, I'm having beer. I'm thinking about this. And so I call him back. I says, yeah, I'm on, right? So that's how that happened. Just a chance to do an opportunity. I told him I'd do it right. We were arch rivals, basically. We raced, boom, boom, boom. All the races that we did, we raced against each other back east in the SRA. So I knew that how important it was for him to go to the TT, and he just wanted to finish. And he'd already put 2 years of homework into it, So, and actually, the year he raced, 2015, it was a terrible year at the TT. It was like hurricanes blew through the whole paddock, and they had very little practice time. So it made it very difficult for Chris and Jeff to qualify. So I went over and I did 4 trips in rental cars for an extended period of time, 3 to 5 days each trip, and just lap. Just drove laps till I felt comfortable that we could go out and do it. And we came home. That was the important thing.
So obviously I'm a huge TT fan, man. So I need to know more than just that, Peter. Like actually riding the actual TT course. What's your favorite section of the TT?
The whole track is amazing. Every part of it has its own little, challenges and stuff. And something I never mastered it. I got around it 100 miles an hour lap. I did 99.7. I missed it by that much, man.
That's balling.
Yeah, but on the race week that you're there for the 2 weeks, 21 laps is what I got. So that was the total laps during those 2 weeks. And I probably did 150 in the rental car to figure out which way the track went. And all through the Glen Helen, I felt the most comfortable. because it was like going into Laurel Banks and up through Glen Helen and up to the top of the hill to the Kronk. And that felt like kind of where I used to ride in California, a little bit, canyon kind of feel to it. Over the top of the mountain was amazing because it's just wide open, and you're really flying there. So you got to be real careful because there's curbs and you could just drift out to those curbs. It's pretty sketchy. So I tried to maintain the best I could. And only scared myself once up there. That was it. Yeah.
So when you're lined up and the guy, obviously has his hand, the legendary, you go over under the, you know what I'm talking about.
You roll up there.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk us through that.
Well, the funniest thing is that I was number 63. There's every 10 seconds, there's a bike takes off. Then we qualified at 43. Or 41. So we moved up to the 41 starting spot because they put you so you shouldn't catch the guy in front of you. And the guy behind you shouldn't catch you. That's the theory behind how you start. And so you're just kind of anticipating. The bike's not really running because you don't want it to be hot when you got to wait. So we're like when the line starts moving forward, then you start it up and the people push you forward. And then you get your little last guy that talks to you, and then you're in your space. And it's the weirdest feeling. Like the first time I went down that, it's similar. You go up and they tap you, right? But it's not pressure. There's no race, right? The first time you go down there, you just kind of go. I didn't even drive anywhere to warm up to see if the brakes are working, anything. And you're going down a hill at 150 miles an hour. It's pretty crazy. So it's something that you'd probably never really fully get used to, is just going from nothing, no warm-up lap, no anything, to just start flat out when you start that first race. It's pretty cool.
And then I imagine the lap coming around, one full lap, and now you're not at the start. Now you're wide open going through Bray Hill, and it's
you get up to pretty good speed from the starting line to Bray Hill. You know, we were at a disadvantage. Our top speed we were there in 2016 was 129 miles an hour, 127, and that's on Solby Straight. And everybody else is doing 150 now there. So it was kind of tough to make a really good lap time when we weren't up to snuff on RPMs and speed. But it was a great opportunity. I would have loved to have gone back, but it's just so expensive and it's very difficult, everything you have to put together. So, but anyways.
What was your favorite food there?
Food? I don't know. I don't remember even what I ate.
Oh, at the TT.
Yeah, well,
just go out and eat, right? Yeah.
Chips when I was over there the first time was a lot earlier than that. When I went over to race the Grand Prix in 91, we'd go order fish and chips and they just slap it right on a newspaper. And that's what they served it to you on, as a piece of newspaper. It's pretty cool. They got good fish and chips and the things, what are the morning breakfast things called?
Oh, the English breakfast or
the bun ones.
Oh,
those are pretty good.
Yeah, I forget what they call them. So tell us about racing in the Grand Prix.
Well, after we stopped racing with the AMA, which was in 86, was the last year they had a title for the sidecars. It was just club racing. And then kind of to race sidecars, you spend a lot of money and time, and it takes two people to do it. So if you kind of don't have a reason to go to the nationals, why spend all this money to go club racing? And there was a lot of club racing, but some people didn't go. So we watched the grids dwindle. And then I decided, well, I'll go see what it's like. So I flew over with Dennis in 89, went to Hockenheim and Salzburg Ring, and tried to make arrangements to get sponsored a sidecar to race over there. So like, here we are, the American champions. Let me have your sidecar, right? And it almost worked. It came pretty close. but what ended up happening is the guy backed out and says, "Why don't you just send your passenger over?" Well, that's really nice. Thanks. You want Dennis, but not me, right? So I told Dennis. He says, "No, I ain't going." I says, "Well, I'll go. I could do it. I mean, I'm not that old yet." So I went and I passengered, and I went into Spa. So I did the whole second half of 91 or 1990, the Grand Prix. So of course the guys that were over there was Kenny and Eddie and Wayne and Randy. It was before Kaczynski, you know. I mean, it was like right that year when Kaczynski was there next year. He might have been there that year too. But it was amazing to just show up with all my gear and kind of hitchhike. I rode with 3 different drivers and got to do half of the season, half the Grand Prix season, drive around in trucks. And yeah, it was pretty amazing.
I bet. Yeah. So what's your best story from doing that season?
Oh, jeez. That was the lead up to me being able to race the next year with the 3-time world champion Egbert Stroyer. But that season, it was probably, I didn't really have anything arranged. And the driver that I went over for, he was Austrian. And the first practices at Spa, he came and he's blah, 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 blah. I only speak barely even English, right? He's telling his son Mario, and Mario's looking at me and go, oh, geez. I said, what's he say? He says, you don't want to know. And I said, well, come on, what's up? He said, you're the worst passenger he's ever had. And he quit. That was it.
Oh, shit.
That was it. So there was my rest of the season. We're going home. We're packing up and leaving. I go, oh, that's really good, right? So I made some arrangements to get to the next race was going to be at Le Mans. And so I needed to go to England and to Scotland. So I got a ride over to Newcastle in England with one of the other sidecar teams, Tony Baker, really great guy. And he dumped me off there. And then I made my way back. I flew from Heathrow into Le Mans. There was a week off, so I traveled around over there and then had a return trip back to Donington for the next race. So I bought a round trip ticket that way and worked out really good. And I was just living on my credit card and my suitcase, right? So basically I get to Le Mans, I'm sleeping outside, and I woke up and I had just mosquito bites all over. I had a sleeping bag, you know, and Billy Galrose, he looks at me and goes, the hell happened to you? I don't know. It's mosquitoes. Just put your shit in the truck so you sleep in the truck from now on. That was probably the funniest thing that happened to me. That was pretty funny. And it opened up a really great friendship too. Yeah.
That's awesome. So Spa, man, they don't do they race there? Man, that's I ain't heard that name in a while.
Oh yeah, they still race there. And it's a place when you have your pass, if you're Grand Prix racer, right? Your pass, you can go where the photographers go.
Oh, nice.
You can go out and stand where the turn workers are.
Really?
So you could watch the lines you want to see. That was 1990, right? So I got my stupid camera and I'm out there and I'm taking pictures of Eddie and Kevin Schwantz, you know, coming around. They know I'm there. They know me from racing in the Nationals here. And Eddie goes, what are you doing here? And I go, what do you mean? What do you think I'm doing? I'm racing sidecars, dude. So I'm hanging over, taking pictures of them with my crappy little camera. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I knew it was a chance of a lifetime to be there. So I was going to suck up every minute of it that I could. And they're looking at me at the sidecar pits. Where are you going? Well, I'm going to go down and watch the start of the 500s. I'm going to go over there and watch practice over there. That's where I'm going.
That would have been me. Yeah. You guys need me, I'll be over here for sure. Yeah. It's, dude, what story? Look, listen, you've lived, your racing has been all over the place, and it's proper mega. It's so awesome, your stories. This is from Dow Brinkley. What is up? He says, my guys, what's up, Chris and Peter?
We're just having a good time on a Sunday.
That's it. Just chilling on a Sunday, having a good chat. And then my man Ben Lee, what is up? He says, good afternoon, Chris and Peter. Can't wait to see you guys on track. Yeah,
Thanks,
that's something Peter he told me. So when I go to Jersey, I can't wait. So what do I need? Do I need to bring me a helmet and all that, or what?
How much you weigh?
How much do I weigh?
Yeah.
Like 199 pounds.
Oh, you better bring your own leathers.
Okay.
Yeah, because passengers are usually smaller than that.
Yeah. Thanks, Peter.
I have a famous sign, you know, and it's made out of cardboard. It's actually in the back of the car. And when I moved down to Florida, there was no sidecars down here. You know, I mean, it was like I never thought I'd live in Florida anyways, but I ended up down here in Florida, so they have to have sidecar racing. And I knew Charlie and Seth Starnes, you know, of course, him, and Charlie Mavros. So I started hanging out with them at the ASRA races. That's another thing I want to announce too. We're going to have some races with ASRA this year, which are going to be amazing. So that's a new thing for us. Our series, I was telling you, we race all the series of sidecars. It's ARMA, American Historic Racing Motorcycle Association, and they're historic racing bikes, but we're lucky that they give the modern sidecars a place to race. So without having that class, we've put our series together with the SRA. We have to keep going after AMA, right? With 86. What are we going to do? Well, we'll build a schedule with whichever club will have us or host us for that weekend. We'll put these races together with this group and these races together with that group, and we'll call it a national championship. So we're able to keep kind of a lower, not as big as AMA, but, you know, at least we had a national series going each year for a while, which was really good. Then we had the opportunity to race with at Sears Point with NASCAR. So we did, that was one of the biggest races. And in 1980, I organized a race at the Long Beach Grand Prix. That was with Formula One. Got a picture of that here too.
Yeah, let me see that. Formula One. I always wanted to go to a Formula One race live.
Yeah, they're amazing. Oh, anyways, let me show you a couple pictures of that bike when it was finished.
Bro, look at that. Is that you hanging off or you riding?
That's me hanging out there, baby. 1978.
Bro, look at that.
Yeah. Pocono.
Listen. Yeah. I got one question, Peter. Just one question, real quick. Where do you hide them big balls you got?
This is Loudon, New Hampshire. So that's and Mary, she's really a great lady. She's Mary Groth. She was a photographer, and she just passed away. And there's actually her thing on the back here.
Oh yeah,
but if you go to Barber to the museum, and you go underneath the Bank Daytona display that they have when you go upstairs and you go to the left, they have a really nice collection of her photography, which is amazing. And there's a silly picture of me up there. But she's got she's got so many from the Laconia Classic. And that was from Pocono, so that was pretty cool. I don't know where that other one is, so let me see here. That's that.
So when you're hanging off that thing, and is your ass scraping the ground sometimes?
Absolutely.
Dude, that's nuts, man. I mean, that's so obviously the sidecar, the passengers' leathers are made specifically for obviously that, right? So what's different about their leathers compared to everybody else's?
Put like this one here on the bottom of Kenny's leathers there. He's got a pocket.
I see.
And you could slide a piece of Teflon into it. We didn't use that. That was 1980. We didn't use that anymore. It's kind of like the knee pucks. They put them on the side now. So they'll put the Velcro on the side and you can put a puck out there. But they're a little thick. You don't want to, it's actually you'd rather feel where your butt is. Because sometimes the chair comes up and it's better to let it come up and stay low. You know, if you got a good driver and you know he's not going to slam it back down, going through the turns, you'd like to see it come up. And sometimes the passenger has to make it come up because if he cuts the turn, you don't want to hit the berm. So the passenger will actually just rise up a little and the driver will know, okay, perfect. He's doing the right thing and still be able to power it through the turn hard. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's so I got so many questions going through my head right now. I'm trying to
I know, and I'm hard to keep track of. Sorry about
dude.
That.
No, dude, Peter, this is awesome. I love it, man. It's absolutely amazing. And I told you before, it's an honor to sit here and have this chat. Now, honestly, you know, we've got so much to talk about. I'd love to do a part 2, right? So, yeah, for sure. So,
so let me finish talking about what I was just saying a second ago about our season.
Yep.
So we've raced with ARMA forever, and they've been really great to us. And the ASRA is now the American Superbike Racing Association. ARMA gave us a chance in 2022 to race at Daytona for the first time. I'd been racing with AMA since '78, And the first race, they're all at Daytona, and oh, no sidecars. I mean, what do you mean no sidecars? Oh, they can't run on the banking. So they all said this and that. They just made up excuses, and they kind of didn't want sidecars around anyways because they just take up some money that they could get for their motorcycles, right?
Right.
Or advertising, whatever. We didn't ever get any money really as it was. We were just big hearts into racing. That was why we did it. But so now we have ASRA coming on board, and they're going to bring us back to Daytona for Biketoberfest for next year. And that's why we'll be at Jersey. We're going to have a back-to-back because back-to-back at Jersey is going to be ARMA and then ASRA, which is you go up there, we enjoy the shore, have a lot of fun up there. Yeah, so it's going to be good. And I guess I'll get to race at Pitt Race, which is a track I've never been to. That'll make it 22 tracks since I've been 60. And I think one other one, Nelson Ledges. I don't know if that's Pitt or if that's Nelson Ledges is on the schedule too, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are track I've never been to before.
So boom. There it is, right? I love it, man. So people out there, you know, we can go out and sign up for a motorcycle coaching program, right? But do they have anything like that for sidecars? Like, how does one get into say, hey, I want to be a sidecar racer? How does somebody go out there and get into something like that?
There's the SRA East and the SRA West, and the East Coast has a school, and ARMA has a school. So almost all that, like Roebling Road's coming up, we'll be up there in 3 weeks. Savannah, it's our opener for this year. They have a Thursday track day for motorcycles and a school. Then Friday, they have time for sidecars to have a school also. Before you just throw a passenger on there, they didn't have to have a license. You know, if they had an ARMA membership. Oh yeah, if you need a passenger, grab anyone out of the crowd, right? They started thinking, hey, this isn't so smart. So they started having the passengers go to school also. So that works good. And in where?
Europe.
Europe.
It always been a license.
Well, yeah, you can go to Europe and get your license. There's schools over there, but over here it's not that hard. And ARMA is great. They put you through the school, they give you your license, and you're out racing. And you usually will start as a passenger. You know, you find very few people coming out and buying a bike and going race. And it happens, but most people get introduced by sitting on the side and they know this is something I want to do. You know, and even I've had passengers, my brother, my he didn't want anything to do with it after that. My son, my daughter, my wife, my ex-wife raced with me. And my daughter had so much fun. We were like at a track and she's, Dad, I'm bored going to the racetrack now. How old are you? 14. Okay, next year you get your license and you race with me. That solved her being bored.
I bet. Yeah. So
it's a family sport. So
yeah. Actually we have Amy, thank you for watching. Amy says Peter is an amazing human being. Happy to know him.
Thank you, Amy.
Awesome. And then my man Aaron Dreyer. What is up, Aaron? He says Peter needs to have Avery pilot.
Absolutely. We'll work something out. We see that's the thing. You talk about going to the TT. It's possible. There can be an American team over there, no problem. But I'm too old. You know, I mean, now you got to be under 40. So you got to start thinking about when you're Avery's age. You can build yourself up to it and be there. And it's really an amazing thing to go do.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll work on getting some sponsorship together for the team in 2028. We'll be over there.
Let's go, right? Avery the lap slayer at the TT. That'd be proper.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. How does one so during the school you got to start as a passenger, right? What is it that they teach you starting out as a passenger? Because obviously nobody's ever done it before, right? And that's why they go to school. So what entails as the training goes for that?
I think the school started mainly because they needed ways to make more money, revenue. Everything's expensive now. So if you ask me, that's the only reason why they started the schools, right? I mean, that's different for motorcycles. You want to make sure everyone knows the flag. Well, if you're a passenger, who cares what the flag is? The driver has to know that, right?
Right.
And they're going to fall off whether they went to school or not. Every passenger is going to fall off. Sooner or later, you're going to fall off once or twice. Some fall off a lot. You know, I mean, I don't know why, but they do. So one of the things, a rule about being a passenger is you're not in the club until you've fallen off, and then you know, I'm getting back on. I don't really mind this. It's okay. And you don't always flip sidecars, but that happens too. And usually you just kind of get underneath there and wait for someone to come and roll it back off you like a turtle. So that's okay too. So that's all part of it. But the school that they do up in Canada, they make you go into a parking lot and do figure eights. So you go around one way, and then the passenger has to move from one side to the other, and someone stands there and watches, and usually someone to follow you. Now at the TT, that's a different story. That's a school, and that's a serious school. You have to go over and do training with the passenger if you're a passenger, and then with the driver, then you go on a newcomer's lap. So the first time I saw the track was behind Tony Baker, who I got to race with in 1990. So I met him in 1990. We raced at Brno, Czechoslovakia, and at Hungaroring together. And then so I see him, the next time I see him is 2016 in the paddock. So we're talking 26 years at the TT. So the next time I see him from the first time I met him, right? And he looks at me and says, "Man, have you gone gray?" So I gone gray. Yeah, the ponytail a little bit. See, it is gray.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, Tony took me for my newcomer's lap, which was pretty cool. That you follow him, you know, and he just kind of shows you if you can go in quick. He says, "Stay with me," so you didn't get too far behind, so you can feel how much braking you're going to need for the turns, things like that. But it's still at about 80%, maybe. So that's cool. But yeah, schools available all the ARMA races this year, I think, except for Laguna.
Yeah, so it's so being a passenger, what I was getting at is they teach you body position, where you need to be when the driver does this, does that, right?
You learn that before you go on the track.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying in the school.
You have to
Yeah,
kind of hang around and feel it. And then the school mainly, like I say, is classroom etiquette, you know, flags and this and that. So you go sit through all that stuff. But until you really get on the track, there's no schooling. You're not going to learn until you're out there. And then
go ahead.
Yeah, they know right away if they want to do it anymore. Some get off and say, "Okay, thanks, that was fine. That's enough." I took John Ulrich for laps at Sears Point.
Oh, did you?
Absolutely. He wrote an article back in 1980, and it was really nice with the CalGuard bike on the cover of the magazine. And Larry and me both took him around there. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome. You know, big shout out to Chris, his son Chris too. You know, I was a huge fan of his son racing, and obviously, you know, major influence in the sport with M4. So yeah, the whole family's proper for sure.
Yeah, I've known him forever, and you know the way I read the magazine when it comes every month, it's one of the best things here. Cycle World's here, right? Or Cycle News, Road Racing World, right? So yeah, I get it. And I read Chris's. I start from the back. That's the first page I start on every time. Then I go backwards from there.
The Kid Racer. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I used to listen. I've been a long time subscriber to Road. Matter of fact, in my basement, I got totes.
The big ones.
Yeah, I got bigger. Yeah. I got those. I got totes and totes of magazines. My wife said, "You gonna throw that shit away?" I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna throw that shit away. When I'm dead, you can burn it. You can do whatever you want with it. But while I'm here, absolutely not." Yeah. And so Dustin Richards, what's going on, bud? He says, "Oh yeah, Peter got me into this sport."
Yep, he was a natural. You know, and so at the age that I'm at, I could quit anytime. I've done a lot. I've had a blast, and it's just like keeping the sport going. For me, is important when I finally decide to retire, that it's doing good. So it has its ups and downs and all that. So I meet these guys down here in Florida, right? And all of a sudden, it's just too much fun. You know, I mean, why would I want to stop racing now, right?
You don't.
They closed Palm Beach, which was an hour and 10 minutes from us, you know.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, it's really great to have a new group of people, breathe a little bit more life into the sport. And we had 30 sidecars at Barber, 32 this year. Yeah.
Nice. So let's say after you do decide to hang up the leathers, is there something you'd like to still be involved in the sport, like actually teaching people?
Well, I do. I mentor a lot. Last year, Dustin passengered for me for a full year. He raced with Seth on one of my sidecars. I usually bring 2 at least sidecars to the track, and my old Kawasaki this one right here.
Oh, nice.
That's in 1981, that picture from Cycle News. But that bike still wins the championship every year when it's out there. I put someone on it and they run it. So it's still at the track. Last year, I was the only year I probably didn't haul it around. We did Daytona. It won its race there. And years before that, I had my old passenger driving it, Nick Bailey, and he moved back up to New Hampshire. He's going to come back, but it's expensive and travel's expensive. So
Yeah.
you can't do it forever.
No, well, in our minds, we can do it forever, right? Yeah, let's just be honest. In my mind, yeah, I can do it forever. So riding at Daytona, riding a sidecar at Daytona, I mean, you know, that banking is legendary, right? The whole races. What's that like in a sidecar? Right.
We did a test day after Barber in 2021, and Tony Dukas and myself ran around it with our sidecars, and it was pretty good. So I said, yeah, this is no problem. They were worried with such little suspension that we'd be bottoming out. And the older sidecars, I'll admit, from the 70s and the 80s, they may have had problems there because they didn't have anything but motorcycle crap on them. And no one really knew what they were doing. So I think the bikes that we had, both of them are Iresons, and they're both pretty stout. They're made for the Isle of Man. But we didn't have anyone with any problems. The banking didn't pose a problem at all. And when you're not going fast, the fastest line's low anyways. You know, I went to the top for fun. Yeah. But it wasn't because I was going so fast that it pushed me up there, you know?
Yeah.
So, pretty cool place to be, though. It's amazing. I'll tell you what was amazing.
What?
I was turn working there last year at Biketoberfest, and I watched Stefano Mesa set his new lap record there.
Did you?
Drop it by 1.8 seconds, dude.
No.
It was phenomenal.
Stefano's a beast, dude. He's I always say I don't see how he don't have a paid ride in Moto America.
No, well, the funny thing is, though, see, that's getting back to me, a professional spectator. I get to see all this shit and be in places. It's so amazing. It's wonderful. Yeah.
It is. It absolutely. So, is there a different setup for a sidecar at the TT versus a normal short circuit?
No, they would build them a little heavier, stouter in places, but an Ireson is pretty much built for the TT. Trevor won it many times. He's like 88 years old, 89 years old now, something like that. And he doesn't build the chassis himself, but they're still available from England. And the LCR is the big chassis that's been specifically developed for the TT. And everything's hung below the motor. The motor sits in it, you know? So when you look at a sidecar and you see the wheels and the axle, every bit of weight you can keep below the axle is good weight. And all the weight above the axle is bad weight. So if you could rotate the motor and drop it, if the passenger could get that much little bit below the axle instead of above the axle, as the gas tank lowers down and is not so full, the bike goes better. And you could really feel it. So they're pretty amazing machines.
Yeah, I
mean, you could drift them. I mean, you could really drift a sidecar, just like, you know, you don't fall down. That's what I say. It's just like go-karts, right?
Yeah, it's amazing to see. Yeah, you do. So if anybody's out there listening that's interested to getting into sidecars, right? Like, what's the cost? Where would they even go look to begin to find a sidecar for sale?
Well, you can get into the sport with a good outfit for under $10,000. It's about the same as buying a super bike, you know, or something that might be set up for the track in the 600 range, right?
Right.
And if you have two people, the cost, that's the nice thing about the sport. If you have a good teammate and you're going to be together for a few years, everything's cut in half. So you both help pay the entries, you pay help for this and that. You can buy a brand new bike for the Isle of Man for about 25 grand without a motor, right? You could buy a brand new bike for the World Championship for about 50 grand without a motor. So that's what it goes for now. I'm lucky because I got one of the last years that Trevor actually built the bike, and it's a 2009, and it has 2007 Honda 600 in it, and that's kind of a bulletproof motor. So I run it and I buy one set of tires a year.
Wow.
It's one set of tires.
Wow. That's $1,000 for a set of tires.
Yeah.
Yeah, one set
And
a
I can
year
make
though.
it
That's
last.
awesome. Yeah.
And I buy them like Barber to me is the biggest race. As the end of the season, it's kind of funny. That's I work up to that event, right? And so I put the new tires on right before Barber. So they're sitting at the shop right now with, I don't have to do nothing. I just go out and race it. And then before Barber, put new tires on. I probably buy 2 sets this year. We had the girls from New Zealand come over last year. That was really big news. They see, where's this thing go? As
Oh
for our New
yeah.
Zealand
Yeah.
friends, yeah.
I see it. That's not. I like it. Look at
Carl
that.
Cox Motorsports, right? The team.
Yeah, Carl Cox. Yeah, absolutely.
He sponsors Michael Dunlop.
Yeah,
Right?
I was gonna say if people listen, if everybody's don't know who Carl Cox is, you need to go look him up. He's big time out there,
Yeah,
absolutely big time.
yeah. So him and Barnett, Mike Taylor from Barnett and TT USA and who else was it? And Carl Cox paid to have this team come over, and so I kind of caught drift of this and started looking at the YouTube videos of them down in New Zealand. I mean, these girls are fast. So they come to Laguna Seca. They beat me on Saturday, right? I'm going, wow, that's pretty good. There's a guy out there, Brett Levesque. He's fast from Colorado, and they beat me, and they're in 1,000. So I kind of expect that to happen, right?
Yeah.
But the girls kind of surprised me. I was racing with my son, and he hadn't been on the bike for 2 years, so I was taking it easy. So I says, well, on Friday I told you to use the lower handhold. He says, oh, I'm fine. So I didn't want to tell him to do it. So Saturday he was so mad we came in second. He says, well, I kind of told you to use the lower handhold there. So he did the next day, and we actually set a new lap record. We beat Brett's lap record too. So, but we beat the girls handily. That was pretty fun.
That's awesome.
But I got some stories that I'd like to share about the Grand Prix season. That could be some other time. And, the people that I met that over the years, just making friends across the country. When we go to the races, I know all the sidecar people. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, Peter, by all means, take it away. Tell them.
So what else could I tell you about the beginning or the end? Who knows what the end is?
Nobody knows what the end is. We just know we're right here, right now, having a good time, right? And yeah, so it's good stuff, man. So sidecars, like I said, is always interested me. So this year, how many races are you going to race?
I think that we're going to pare it down a little bit. It's funny. Last year I only did 4, which was 8 races. Is that right? Yeah, I had 4 different passengers. So I did 5 races. Yeah, so I had 4. Well, one was done. I did 4 events. We only traveled to 4 events, and we still won the championship, which was good. So that's the main thing. I won it 4 years in a row. So this year we're going for 5. The big event for me this year is going to be Daytona. I mean, of course, I love Barber. It's a festival just that. I might go to Mid-Ohio this year. We haven't been there for a while, so that might be put on the schedule.
Yeah, Mid-Ohio, right? It's actually coming back. And listen, Aaron Dreyer, my man, says, Peter, let's do a test run at Bushnell.
Yeah, this is small track, but we got to build some small sidecars for there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing about sidecars, right? So when I went to Cadwell Park, it was a Thursday, I think. Malcolm took me. Peter took me. Was it Sunday? No, not Sunday. I flew in on Tuesday, Wednesday. It had to have been Wednesday or Thursday. And they had a track day. So they had not sidecars, but they had cars and bikes. And they were telling me that sidecars do ride there. And I'm thinking to myself, it's so narrow. I was like, how does sidecars even fit on this track, right?
I know, yeah. The tracks over there are kind of tight. We're pretty spoiled over here. We have some pretty big tracks here.
It is. So obviously you're a big fan of the Isle of Man TT, right? Have you raced anywhere else in Europe doing sidecars, or was it just the TT?
No, well, I did Donington in the Grand Prix. I did.
Oh yeah, that's right. In Spa.
Yeah, Spa.
Which one was your favorite out of all of them?
Brno, Czechoslovakia. That track's amazing.
It is.
I was only a passenger, so I didn't really get a feel of driving the tracks. But Spa was amazing, but it's really long and it's just so fast. Bruno's was a little bit more challenging and hilly, but they're all amazing tracks. Hungary was a new track, pretty new when I was there. We did what else did we do? Oh, Italy. I came in second place in Italy.
Nice.
I got on the winner's circle.
Nice. Where
Yeah.
Mazzano?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the trophy there. That one right there with the fan
Dude,
on the top.
Yes, I think
Lucky strike leathers.
that's awesome.
Yeah. But
I love it.
I don't know where else did we race. I don't know. We flipped over at Bruno. Flipped the sidecar over in the race. It didn't go all the way, so we finished the race, but it was pretty exciting.
I bet, right? I bet that's crazy. So, when you flip a sidecar, does it cause? Obviously, I know this might be a dumb question. A tremendously amount of damage to it, or are they built sturdy? Like we don't. Even at the TT when we see them, yeah, they might give us a glimpse in the garage or whatever, but it's hard to, and they'll show the bike, but unless you pause it, it's really hard to
understand what you're looking at.
Yeah, understand what I'm looking at. So explain to us what exactly is a sidecar.
Okay, well, so the Formula 2 are tubular steel, and so they're designed to hold the motor on top of them. Now they're strong structure underneath, and they're car tires, 10-inch rear, probably a 9 or 10-inch chair, and mine has a 6-inch front and a 6-inch chair wide, right? But the newer ones have 8-inch fronts, so that's going from a 12 when mine was built till now. So everything's better. The Formula 1 bikes are long and they're made out of aluminum monocoque, so they're very light, and the motor's behind them. So when they roll over, not that we want to, you can envision it's just kind of like a barrel rolling over onto its top. So it's not usually violent. It's just like, and that's happens. And it can happen for numerous reasons, for the driver spinning out. And when it gets sideways, it just goes. Or if he spun the wrong way and the passenger doesn't cover the chair, when he starts going backwards, once he goes just a little bit more, then the chair's so light it flips over. But those will just usually be flipped back over and you can almost just keep going. And we didn't flip all the way. I kicked it right when it was about ready to come down, and I kicked it and it went back down on the wheels. And Tony's looking at me like, how come it didn't flip? I says, come on, let's go. I'm okay. I'm okay. So yeah, we finished. He says, you really do want to finish, don't you? I says, yeah, we're sitting on the tire wall. I says, yeah, come on, let's go. So we finished that race. I crashed it twice at Assen in 1990. We spun out coming onto the front straightaway on the first lap and got tagged, and it flipped over. So we flipped it back up. We went right into the pits and got a bunch of duct tape out and duct taped it back together and joined the race like 2 laps later. And then 3 laps into that, the fairing went underneath the front wheel and we went off the track, just the same place Steve Webster went. I don't know if you've ever seen, if you look up sidecar crash at Assen and it put Steve Webster, it's pretty spectacular. So I went in the same place he did. That was pretty special.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But we walked away, luckily.
That's
it is a safe sport though. That's a rare, it's really rare that there's accidents in sidecars.
Yeah. So it as far as getting back to actual the sidecar itself, obviously it's unconventional to a motorcycle, right? So I'm used to 2 front forks, a rear shock, and a swing arm and all that. So what's the suspension like on a sidecar? How much travel does it have? With all that good stuff.
Well, the chair wheel solid mounted. There's no suspension allowed by the rules. So it's just an axle, and you have 2 inches of rubber on the bottom of you because that's about the height of the tires. So the tire pressure you run is important because that gives you a little bit more bounce on the chair. You always run more air in the chair wheel because you don't want it to be so grippy. And plus, when you throw the bike all the load onto that chair wheel, it could roll off the rim. That's the main reason, because you could actually get so much side load on it, you could push it right off the rim. We start with I don't know what everybody else does, but I start with 13 pounds in the front tire and 14 pounds in the rear tire. And you don't want the rear tire to get so hot that it gets a bow to it, because mine's 9 inches wide. So the more it heats up, if it gets a bow, you lose your flat surface patch on the ground. So it's kind of a, the guys come in the world championships and they do their tire temperature straight across it immediately. They do their parameter, and they know if they have to go down a pound, a half a pound, just to make that heat even across the tire. So the construction of the frames is though pretty basic from the vintage. You could take a motorcycle, you could lower it down as much as you can. You could weld on a platform to it, and you have a vintage sidecar. That's the beauty of it. You can go racing for like $2,000. It's pretty cheap.
Yeah, that's I can't wait. I can't wait to go for a ride in this thing. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm so looking forward to it.
It's a good time.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Dustin Richards says they're all 3-wheeler rocket ships. Absolutely, they are. And anything happens, it's always the passenger's fault. That's what Dustin says.
That green one right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Behind there.
Oh, that's nice.
It's me and Dustin right there behind the bike. That was up at Gingerman, I believe. Yeah, that was the group. That's the group we had up there in 2001. Right, Dustin?
That's awesome. And Miguel, he says, "Hey Pete, what's happening, Miguel?" He's awesome.
Let me see this one here.
Yeah, let me see. Wow, look at that. Is that you?
Me. Yeah, 1991 at racing Lucky Strike bike.
Bro, like I said, where do you hide those ginormous?
It's easy, man. Once you get used to it, it's nothing. It's just like normal. It's scary to ride a motorcycle. I promise you. You have more fear going through a turn when your front starts chattering. When my front chatters, I just give it more gas or turn it harder. It's not going to fall over. You're on a 2-wheeler, man. Those guys, I tell you what, Stefano Mesa, watching that lap that he did at Daytona, every lap he came by me and I knew, oh my God, this guy is on the edge. That's something else.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Dustin says, that's right. Ask him about the Superman. Ha 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 ha. Oh man, such amazing memories.
Yeah, he liked to hang off the back of the bike. I'll post a picture. I got a link of an old Italian guy. I shared a picture of him, and then someone shared some pictures subsequently on that link. Just came up yesterday or something like that. He was a horse stuntman in a circus. So he would ride on the side of the horse this way and the side of the horse this way, bounce back and forth. Little Italian guy. He's completely off of the motorcycle on the side of the driver. The chair is on the other side. And the picture is him is just like he's riding on a horse. His 2 feet are way out over here. It's pretty amazing.
That's awesome. I got to see that picture for sure. 100%. And Miguel, again, he says, I remember Pete at PBIR as a solo sidecar, just showing us what it was all about.
Yeah, well, when I moved to Florida, I came down with my motorhome and trailer and had no place to park or work on it. Or race it, So what I do is I knew when Seth was going the track, so we'd go to the track and park off in the grass, and I'd go up to Tony West. I said, "Hey, you think I can get a lap?" He goes, No. So after like the second time I was there, I says, "Well, why don't you let me go out when the last bike goes by? You give the last guy the checkered flag. Before you let the next group go out, I'll just follow him around and I'll come back in." He says, "Why?" This is why I want to see what the track's like. I want, So he says, "Okay, I guess that won't take any time." So as the last bike went by in a practice, he'd let me go. And then I rounded up enough sidecars to talk him into letting us have a race. So we got a couple of races. If we had 10 sidecars, we had it at Homestead once, but if we had a consistent 10 sidecars, he'd be happy to host sidecars. But we can't, you can't get 10 sidecars to come from, Florida. In Homestead, you couldn't get any farther south if you want to have a race. So,
yeah. Miguel says, and South Florida Sidecars was born.
Yep. Thanks to Miguel. He put up the website for us.
Nice. Thank you, Miguel. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good stuff, man. So out of every place you've ever raced, what was the most challenging? Well, obviously the TT. That was kind of a dumb question,
Yeah. So,
right?
Sears Point, if you want to rate a challenging track that I've raced on, that's um, I haven't raced every track. I'm really surprised how many tracks in the United States I haven't been on. It's pretty amazing. But
Well, how many have you been on?
almost all of them. Portland. I actually went to Westwood, which is up gone now. That was up north in Canada. So Portland International, Seattle, Sears Point, Laguna Seca, Riverside, Ontario, Willow Springs. Those were all our normal tracks out west. And then Road America, New Jersey. I could probably tell you more what I haven't been to. I haven't been on Road Atlanta in a long time. We raced Road Atlanta in 1980, before it's what it is now.
Yeah.
That was an amazing track back in 1980. Haven't been to, I've been to Utah and to, where else have we been? Gingerman, Blackhawk Farms, Little Talladega. That's a great little track. That's close to us. CMP, Carolina Motorsports Park, Savannah, Roebling Road. We'll start there. Yeah, I've been to Hallett and I don't know. There's just it's Pocono. Yep, Old Pocono and Daytona.
Miami Homestead.
Loudon, New Hampshire, Homestead. Yep, Homestead.
Dustin Richards. That was from Dustin. Yeah, man, that's Peter. That's simply amazing. So, what all tracks are you racing at this year here in America?
Well, the ARMA schedule's out, and that's pretty much firmed up.
Okay.
You can go to that website and see it. I'm not sure if we're going to do all of them. Like last year, we just kind of cut our season down a little bit.
Yeah.
This year, we're going to support the ARMA events that are close, which is Roebling Road, and we'll probably go up to Jersey. I haven't been there for a while. It's a long haul. So with the back-to-back with Azra, it's kind of economical. You know, you drive up there, you spend a week, we'll do that. And definitely do Barber and then Daytona the weekend after to close out the year. And I'm not sure if Mid-Ohio's in there because that's the week we have to fly to Caldwell after. Caldwell, however you say it.
Caldwell. Yeah, it's man, what an amazing place. Listen, I said this before getting on. It was the best race weekend I've had in my life. And I've been to a lot of road races. It was just the atmosphere, the people, the culture, how everybody just accepted me. Every time I would talk, people were like, "Where are you from?" Right? It was
they breathe racing in
it's amazing. I felt more at home than at home when it comes to racing, which is kind of odd. Like I never felt out of place, not one time. Never got homesick because I seriously thought, because it's my first time out of the country, I'm going by myself. Nobody's going with me, right? I'm solo. Of course,
you picked that track because the pictures you saw the bikes taking the jump.
Listen, I grew up watching road racing, right? And the very first time I seen it was in a magazine of Cadwell Park and the jump, and I was like,
you have
what
to see
is
that.
this place? What is this place? Right. And then obviously, I finally got to see it on TV and I was like, I mean, I absolutely have to go there one day. Absolutely. And from then on, I was just a huge BSB guy. It's just, you're right. The culture, the people, listen, I say this to everybody, Peter, and I mean it. That's why the TT's on my bucket list, right? Because I said this before. It's my absolute favorite race of the year, single race of the year, the event, right? The 2 weeks, the whole thing. But watching them guys, Ryan Vickers and Josh Brooks, and dude, it's amazing seeing them jump that mountain. It's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. And then how narrow it is. And then the back section, it's just tire walls left and right. And you're actually, as a spectator, can get really close. And it's everything, the culture of the track, the history behind it, the farmhouse and the dad and the two sons. And yes, it's the whole thing, the whole history of it. And you feel it when you're there. It's not like Texas, right? You go to Texas MotoGP race. Yeah, it's real high energy. Of course, it's high energy there too, but it's like, it's just a track, right? It's MotoGP
that's
that's bringing it.
That's one I haven't been to. So.
What, Texas?
No, I haven't got to drive there yet. Yeah, in a
Oh,
sidecar.
okay.
They haven't had a race there yet. Maybe we'll work that into the schedule someday.
That would be awesome. Well, yeah, I usually go every year for the MotoGP race. I'm going again this year, and it's just like most tracks you see on TV, Peter. Right? The corners don't do it no justice. So yeah, turn one, it's steep. It really is. It's an amazing place to be.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It's can't wait to go there in April. I look forward to it all the time. Me and one of my best friends, Jason. Big shout out to him. I fly to Oklahoma and then me and him jump in the car or his truck, and it's like 5-hour drive, and it just gives us more time to spend time together. And
Yeah.
our once a year boy trip, so friend trip. So yeah, we have a
Very
lot of fun.
convenient. Yeah.
But BSB, it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, it's actually Saturday, Sunday, Monday. For Cadwell when I went, it was every day. It was just high energy. Everybody was super excited. Cheers. I mean, you go to a Moto America race
And a big crowd.
and a big crowd. You go to Moto
Big
America, man, it's like a third of what we had at Codwell, and nobody. I mean, there's people cheering, but it's you got to experience, and it's gonna blow your mind. I love it, and I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm not going.
Well, and Donington was the same way. You go there and there's this old structure that's built out there and the castle and the airplane and all this stuff. And you go around on Thursday and practice, and there's a few people. And then Saturday and Sunday, you can't even see the lawn. It's covered with people. I mean, there's 100,000 people that weren't there the day before all of a sudden show up. And Aston, everyone camps. They just come for miles and miles. It's their holiday. They'll put everything in their bike and go to 2 Grand Prix. They'll pick them out, whatever they're going to do. But they ride their bikes. They set up tents, and they just go from one track to another and then back home. That's their holiday. So that's what it means a lot to go to those kind of events for the public. It's pretty cool.
It's so rich in history there too. You're right. There was a lot of campers there over the weekend when I was there. I mean, I think about it a lot. I can't lie. I think about that trip a lot. I had so much fun. It was, I wish we as Americans was into the sport like all my mates across the pond are over there.
Yeah, well, their great grandmothers rode motorcycles. Ours didn't.
Right. Yeah, they cooked, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's the difference right there.
Yeah, it's
heritage.
But it's funny, dude, Peter, because I get asked the question a lot, and I say it a lot. What's the difference, right, between BSB and like Moto America? What we do in Moto America better than anybody else in the world, World Superbike, MotoGP, blah 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 blah. We have an open pit policy, which is great for the fans. That's one thing, dude, that we got better than anybody else. Everywhere else, you either got to know somebody or get a pit pass if it's available, yada yada yada, right? But Cadwell Parks were the only ones to where, because they actually got to cross the track to get down to the pits, because the pits are actually down there at the bottom where the front straightaway is. So you can actually, as a spectator or a fan, stand there and you're guaranteed to meet every Storm, Stacy, Bird. I mean, Irvin, Tommy, all of them, right? I think that all race organizations in the world would benefit if they had an open pit policy to some extent, like we do in Moto America. Because as a fan, Peter, that's where we go. Yeah, I go to watch the race.
The Isle of Man is open pits.
I know. I can't wait. I can't wait to go to the TT. It's definitely on my bucket list. It's but it's the whole thing is just simply amazing. But I think the sport alone, as I was just saying, that would benefit if they had some type of open pit, right, to where the fans get to actually, meet their favorite rider and get a picture or autograph or whatever it is they want. Just tell them that, hey, you are amazing and I appreciate what you do, whatever, right? I think that
as the cost of everything went up, though, too, I saw it from the beginning when I started racing, right? It was $35 for your race license. It was $35 to enter a race. And now everything's gone up so much that the promoters, and they justifiably have to raise everything. But the the years that I went to Laguna Seca as a spectator, we'd go there, we could camp, we could hang out, you know, and you didn't have to pay extra for this, and this. And kids these days don't have the spare cash or the opportunity to be around motorcycles, maybe, or whatever, to get interested into seeing them. So you don't have even Sears Point. The Nationals back there in the 70s, the hills were packed. Laguna Seca, the hill was packed. I mean, you could see that whole hill. People were all over it. And I don't know the difference. I don't know what the reason is, because the racing was always exciting as far as I was concerned. You know, it's Freddie Spencer. And, you know, really, I mean, I was in the pits with all those guys. Reggie Pridmore, you know, was my hero, because when I first started going, I had a Norton and he was racing the BMW, and it sounded the same. I didn't know. Of course, I knew the difference, but the sound was different than the Jap bikes, right? So I always rooted for Reggie. And then 1978, Riverside, he's on the grid with me on his sidecar. So we became great friends. And he came and saw me race. He was off. Of course, he was already over at the Isle of Man. He runs a tour along with his class school. But he came into the pits 3 times to check on me and see how we were doing at the Isle of Man. It was amazing. So those are the kind of people that I can call friends too now. It's just amazing that and like you know, your heroes when you meet them, man. It's nice to be appreciated, and that they take you and give you time. Michael Dunlop, when he did Daytona, he hung out with Dustin and us. I mean, it was amazing. He's just like down to earth. There he was.
Dude, you got to tell me about that, because I'm a huge man. Listen, I'm a huge fan of all those guys. I'm a huge fan of you, everybody that does any racing. I don't care, right? Motorcycle racing in general. And, you know, obviously the Dunlop family has just been a legacy at the TT. If those of you don't know anything or never even heard, do yourself a favor, stop watching this right now, go to YouTube and put in anything Dunlop, Michael, dude, any of them. You'll be amazed that they are. But to actually sit there and hang out with them, you know, it's like you hear horror stories, you know, you don't never want to meet your hero because you might be pretty much disappointed, right? Which I have a couple of those. We can talk about that later. But you know, to hear how humble he is, tell us about the legend himself, Michael Dunlop. Dude, Lucky, I'm so jealous over here.
Well, Dustin was racing, right? So Dustin Richards got his yellow hair, his yellow leathers, his yellow bike, and he's fast. He was winning the championship in Femmer down here. He won like 9 races in a day. He'd go to the race 12 races. Oh, amazing. This kid, Dustin, right? You'll probably see him pop up every once in a while. But him and Michael became friends and are just chatting it up all the time. After hours, they're partied out. It was just amazing. We only went up for Sunday and hung out with them and Scott Odell. But, you know, I had met Mike at the TT, but he didn't remember meeting me at the TT. I just walked by and said, "Hey, Mike, I'm really impressed and great to see you." I mean, like, what do you say, right? But the whole night that we were there hanging out with him was pretty cool. It was really, and Dustin has a lot of stories.
Yeah, I know Dustin Richards. I don't know him personally. I'm pretty sure we're friends on Facebook. I see him post stuff. Yeah, I would love to actually have a chat with Dustin sometime, for sure. So Dustin, if you're listening, shoot me a message. But anyway, Dustin says Peter is amazing in the pits. I can't tell you how many people, young and old, that's coming to our pits, and we've given them a full tour and let them get on the sidecar. It makes future racers. Yeah, absolutely it does. You know, getting kids involved, especially. Autographs we have given away, our plaques, hats, t-shirts to all demographics of people. And then he says, he autographed my windscreen. I raced with him on that race. Dude, listen, you know, it's like me with,
he drew a dick on his forehead. I got pictures. Pictures.
Let me see. You got one right there with you?
No, I don't have it.
Oh, man. Come on, Peter. Oh.
Dustin will admit it.
Yeah, that's so okay. I love it, dude. I love it. So yeah, you know, it's like meeting I didn't want to say is what he said. I didn't want to say. I have the video, Dustin, bro. Reach out to me. I got to see this video, bro. 110%. And we got to chat, dude. It's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just like when I met, Peter Hickman. I was I flew out Monday from here. I got there on Tuesday. I already knew that Peter's performance shop wasn't too far from my hotel, right? So
Mhm.
I get up the next day immediately and I call out there. I was like, yeah, my name's Simcoe from America. It's my first time here. I'm a huge Peter Hickman fan. I'll come by and buy a hat, a t-shirt, and a sweatshirt. I want to do all these things, right? They're like, of course, yeah, absolutely. Come on by. So I get a cab. I go by there. Um, they didn't tell me Peter Hickman was standing inside. So when we pulled up, this guy comes out. I forget his name. I'm sorry. I got a couple pictures with him. We had a long conversations. I'm not good with names, but I always remember a face, right? So anyway, he comes running out. He's like, "Oh, are you the American that just called?" I was like, "Yes, Simcoe, bro. Nice to meet you. What an honor, blah, blah, blah." He didn't tell me Peter Hickman was standing inside. So I walk in the door, bro, and as soon as I look to my right, there's the legend himself, Peter Hickman. And I just threw my hands up, was like, Peter Hickman, what? It's an honor to meet you. It was absolutely crazy insane. It really was. And he was so cool, so down to earth. So was his dad. Me and his dad had many conversations. And every time we seen each other at Cadwell, they would walk up to each other and have a conversation. Every time Peter Hickman would come by, it's always amazing when you meet one of your heroes and they actually take time to say hi to you, after you've met, right? And didn't talk anything about racing. Like when I met Peter, I just said, man, I'm a huge fan, and then I started my whole kind of little thing, like what's your favorite food and your favorite movie and doing stuff like this. Cause I want to have a more genuine human conversation instead of, obviously I'm a fan, so I know all about your racing. Right.
Right.
But yeah, it was just it was awesome because he was actually putting together some because they just moved to a new shop. So originally I went to their old shop and it was locked. So I called them up. I was like, yeah, I'm standing outside, but the door's locked. They're like, oh, we're a block away, whatever, on the left. Our new shop. So who's actually in there putting like displays together for his mats and all this stuff going on. But he had his TT winning bike in there, the 136 miles an hour with all the bugs on it, full display, the helmet and all that. And I'm just, dude, Peter, I'm looking at it just like, is this really happening? Like, am I really in the UK? Am I really hanging out with Peter Hickman? Am I really looking at his bike? Like, it's hard for me to put in words. Like I tell everybody, it's an honor. It was such an honor. Just crazy, man. It's absolute crazy, and how genuine they are, right? So going back to my, don't want to meet one of your heroes. It was Stoner, right? I love Stoner. Like obviously I had a love-hate relationship with him there for a while. But then once you really start to understand a person, right, it's your mindset changes, right? So you appreciate them. To me, Stoner was besides Anthony Gobert and Casey Stoner, right, had the most natural talent that I've ever pretty much seen on a motorcycle. Over Marquez, over Valentino Rossi. They just had something unique and special about them. The feel was, whatever it was. So anyway, I'm all excited. See Casey Stoner, walk up to him, was like, man, I'm Simcoe. It's an honor to meet you. Do you mind signing this for me? He flat out said no and turned around and walked away.
No
and man,
shit.
I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me right now. In my mind, I'm like, what? Are you kidding me right now? So I hand the poster to my brother, his girlfriend, and I was like, would you go get this signed for me, right? Because Marco Melandri was over there too. I was so devastated. I couldn't even walk up to Marco Melandri. So she's like, yeah, I got you. She walks straight up to Casey Stoner, and he looks at me as I hand her the poster. And she said, will you sign this for me? He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And I'm like, what a dick, dude. Really? Like, that's the dickish move I've ever seen. But yeah, so
now he knows.
yeah, right. Now he knows. Yeah, it's but listen, I still Stoner still was everybody missed that Marquez Stoner battle because obviously Stoner retired, but what a proper battle that would have been, right? Talking about King of the Giants, but yeah,
those bikes back in the day were hard to ride, man.
I know. And then so obviously you watch MotoGP and World Superbike.
Absolutely. Not so much World Superbike. I
Okay.
got to limit the amount of time that we sit on the TV, but every minute of the TT is not only do we watch the Isle of Man feed, but Three Wheeling is the sponsor for the sidecars. So that'll be on. And then also you could say to your Google girl or Siri or whatever you have, stream Manx Radio AM on TuneIn.
Bro,
Yep.
I got Manix Radio app on my phone. Strictly
Yeah, so I
yes.
listen to it in the morning here
Yep.
when I want to get a good feel of what's going on the
Yep.
island and hear the commercials. It's so great,
Yeah.
and it's just wonderful. So yeah, I think that kind of stuff is very important to keep up on. I watch all the practices. Moto America coverage, I have to say, is amazing. I mean, they've done a really, really good job. I did enjoy the Supercross last night, being able to watch it, but I'm pissed off because I don't want to pay anything for Peacock. So I'm not going to pay for Peacock.
Right. Yeah, I know. That's that's me too. My man Aaron Dreyer just sent me a proper Aaron. He sent me the photo. Oh, that's good stuff.
Oh, Dustin?
No, it's him, Avery, and Mickey D, bro.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, dude, proper. He's got red on his forehead. Mickey D's got red on his forehead.
Yeah, that's a dick.
Yeah. It must have been where he was trying to wipe it off or trying to wipe it off. See it. That's awesome.
Oh, we had such a good time. And
dude.
I mean, the life at the racetrack, everybody takes it different. A lot of people put a lot of pressure on themselves. I just go to have fun. So if we finish the race and everyone packs up and goes home safe, that's been a good weekend for me.
Oh, for sure.
That's why we do it.
For sure. Dustin says, he says, we signed autographs for the Hells Angels for 2 hours in Nevada. I guess they went to church and Peter was sidecar and I called highlighter. And we met people who heard about us from state to state with smaller bike clubs. Me and Peter were mind blown. Yeah, that's amazing. Absolutely,
that's pretty cool.
Amazing. Yeah, that's that's amazing. So MotoGP, who's your favorite rider in MotoGP in this era right now as we speak?
Well, I'm amazed with Marquez. I mean, for him to be the age he is and running against these kids and still just giving it his all. I mean, how many times do you want a high side? I just say back off and enjoy yourself, dude. But yeah, they're all fast. They're all good. Anne likes Fabio. She likes that he doesn't wear when his leathers are open, he doesn't have a t-shirt on underneath there. She thinks that's sexy. So
ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. That's the her hall pass. Absolutely.
That's why we watch so much MotoGP.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah. That's good stuff. Yeah. That's
and then so you had Chloe on, and I know Chloe from the Armor races, and Jeremy runs the big Kawasaki's too. He runs a 650 or 750. I'm not sure what he runs, but it looks like my KZ. So whenever I have a problem, I go over and say, "Hey, what's up with this thing?" Because I'm not the best mechanic. But
you talking about Chloe Madrill?
Yeah, she's
awesome.
A lot of people. She's helping out whenever we're needing passengers, and oh yeah.
It was awesome, Peter, because when I had her on the podcast, I do like this every once in a while. I'd pop her up in a picture like this. Awesome. Yeah, she's awesome. She actually sent me I got a signed poster right here that I'm gonna hang up that she sent me. Again, everybody listening, it's an honor to sit here and be able to do this and talk to everyone. Everybody that's I've had on. And everybody that I've had on's coming back on, and people in the future that are coming on, and everybody that listens. I can't say it enough how much I appreciate everybody. It's simply
you do a really
amazing.
Good job.
All you guys are mega amazing people, and I thank you so much. It really is. It's awesome.
So one of my favorite racers to watch right now is I got to tell you this, Kayla.
I know Caleb Yako, dude. She's
For the last 2 years, I've just been going, oh my God, where'd this girl come from? Right? She's amazing.
she is
So
amazing.
yeah,
She is.
and that's what's so nice about the sport. You see people start out when they're young, and you can follow them, and it's really a great thing, So I wish her all the luck because she's got so much talent, and we just want to see her keep going, man. We were here, people that don't even. I got friends that could care less about motorcycles or anything like that, right? So I got the race on in the kitchen where I'm cooking, so I could watch it, and they're all over doing their own thing, and Mike comes in and goes, "What was that?" I said, "That's a girl winning that race right there." No. He says, "Yeah." Are those all girls? No. She's winning that race right there. And then ends up everybody's over in the little TV in the kitchen watching it, right? That was pretty cool. She's very impressive young lady.
Yeah, she's definitely gonna do big things. Going back to Moto America, dude, Super Sport this year has absolutely got the best stat class in Moto America this year. I think it's gonna be
Racing has been amazing.
It's gonna be proper. It really is. JD Beach is back. I mean, we got Westby's not no more, but we got Honda coming back in from allegedly from what I hear. It's this year's going to be proper all the way around, for the TT. I mean, it's that dude, 136 average, dude. That's plumb nuts, dude. I remember, 119, 121.
The sidecars broke 120.
Yeah, I know.
Boys.
The virtual,
Two teams did it this year, and they went 120 miles an hour average. And Tom, Ben and Tom, so Tom the passenger retired. You saw that.
I did. That's what I was getting ready to say. Yep.
So they've announced his replacement.
His replacement. Yep.
Yep. Which
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I know it's Rocheleau. I'm not sure exactly. Kevin. Yeah, Kevin.
Yeah.
So,
Kevin.
but he races for Steinhaus Racing in the World Championships, which you could just say YouTube stream the World Championship sidecars live, and it'll come right up. But last year, they all came up. They're good. If you haven't watched any of them, just do it on YouTube. All last year, Sidecar World Championships races are on.
Will.
But yeah, it's going to be there's 33 entries for the TT this year. A couple newcomers, and the coverage is pretty good. I'd like to see a little bit more sidecars, but I don't complain about it because we watched it all on the other side too. So we see what we can.
Yeah, I pay for the app. So everybody out there, what he's talking about is you can go to the TT. They actually have an app. It's like $25 for the whole 2 weeks. It's nothing. And it's the best $25 you've ever spent. If you don't enjoy it, well then don't do it again. But I don't see how you couldn't, right? I mean, it's proper. And to me, it's like man, it's hard. Like obviously I pay for MotoGP every year, man. It's like $180, $170. And it's I don't like where MotoGP's at. It's too aerodynamic. It's more like F1, right? It's all down to more like engineers than it is the rider, old school, but it's still going to be exciting.
Well, who would have thought that these little plastic things they were going to bolt on the bikes were going to make them win or lose? The aerodynamics in MotoGP is phenomenal. Right
it is.
Now. It's interesting, just to see what they could do. But boy, 10 years ago, no one would have thought that would make a difference.
Yeah, right? I mean, listen, there's plus and minuses of it. I'm just not a fan of the ride height devices or the aerodynamics. I like the old school proper way of things, right?
Yeah, come race with Arma. We got all the old bikes over there.
Right. Yeah. So it's it's good stuff, man. But you know what I'm really trying to say is 2024 in all classes is going to be proper mega racing. BSB. And listen, this is one thing I love about BSB. You can go to BennettsBritishSuperbikes.com and watch all the races live as they happen. And that is absolutely amazing, right? Moto America needs to step up their game for their app because their app is just it's hideous, right? You pay $80, which is just a race weekend, which it's cheap if you think about it. It really is. But man, if you don't catch it live, it's like 3-4 hours, 5 hours, shit, sometimes the next day before you can even watch them again, right? I think they need to step up their game with that, and plus also their YouTube that they do, right? Which is an amazing channel they do. What's it called? Not Rise to Survive. Yeah. Not Drive to Survive, but what's their YouTube they put out all season long? God damn it, I can't remember the name of it. You guys would
For
know what
what?
I'm talking about.
Moto America?
Yes, Moto America, where
I
they where
haven't.
they where they recap the races.
Oh, we just watched the stuff live. We've
Okay,
already
okay,
learned that, and they the MotoGP puts it on TV too. You can catch it the next day. A lot of the
okay.
races have been good. That's really
Yeah,
helps the audience that
it
doesn't have to
does.
pay for it. So at least I'm thankful the TV networks realize that there's a spectator interest there. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be on at all.
No,
You
you're
know.
right. You're right. But the thing about the MotoGP app's so good. It's the best one out there, I think. I do World Superbike too, but because you can go back and watch. I think it's all the way up to like 76 or 74. You can go back and watch
Mhm.
all those races, right? And that's awesome. Because I'd be like, you know what? Because during the off season, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna watch the 1986 500 Grand Prix. Boom, there it is, right? Just stream
There
it
it
to my
is.
TV and boom,
Yeah.
there it is. But yeah, listen, Peter, dude, we've been on this for an hour and 30 minutes, man. It don't even seem that long at all. So I wanna actually ask you a couple personal questions, man. If
All
you don't
right.
mind,
All
man.
right.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We're definitely gonna do a part two of this because yeah, we have a lot more to talk about. So what are you and your wife watching on Netflix right now?
We don't watch Netflix.
We don't
Uh,
have it.
We don't have it.
Okay, okay. Is there
I've never
anything
bought. I've never bought anything from Amazon
okay. Oh,
ever.
wow.
Ever. My favorite color is yellow.
I love it. Yellow. I like it. I like it. All right. So do you read books or listen to audiobooks?
um, Anne warned me this might be asked. My last book I read was Madison Bridges of Madison County. Is that okay? You
Yeah.
don't even know what it is.
No,
No,
perfect. Yeah,
no,
no, no,
no.
no. Yeah, I do. I listen to obviously a lot of audiobooks. There's a lot of good ones out there. But did you have like Star Wars or Star Trek?
I'd have to say Star Trek.
Okay, okay. So if who would you be in Star Trek? What character best describes you in Star Trek?
I don't know, the guy that rides the sidecar.
That would be Scotty. The answer to
Scotty,
that
okay.
question is Scotty.
I
Yes.
should be the doctor though. Sounds more intelligent.
Dr. Spock. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I was never into Star Wars, absolutely, but Star Trek, I just never really. My brother, now he was
You
just
weren't
like,
even born when Star Trek came on TV, dude.
no, I
No,
wasn't. No, no,
you weren't born.
no, no, no. But I was always a Star Wars fan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Good stuff. So, what's your favorite food? Like, what's your favorite food? One, and what are you making tonight for dinner?
Well, there's a roast I already started in the Dutch oven.
Nice.
Okay, so that had to be started early.
Yeah.
I cook, so I like to cook. I get to hide in the kitchen and watch my sports and not bother everybody else. And I'm Lebanese, so I really like Mediterranean food and miss my grandmother's cooking immensely. I try, but yeah,
Dude,
Lebanese food's amazing.
I love to cook, Peter. So I would love to be able to get with you one day. I mean, you could just throw down in the kitchen because I love to cook. Absolutely, cooking and enjoying a good glass of red wine, either listening to
Mhm.
some good music or watching a race or something, anything on two wheels. Right? Yeah, that's my thing. I'll go there and throw my earbuds in or at least one in and yeah, do my thing in the kitchen. I really like to cook. Mediterranean, absolutely one of my favorite foods. I love Greek food, Mediterranean, Thai food,
Mhm.
Indian food. I'm a food connoisseur, right? I'm not so big on cheeseburgers. I'll eat them. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely, we all eat cheeseburgers, I think,
Right,
but
right. But as far as like hot dogs, I used to be a big hot dog person. Man, I ate a hot dog, and well, me and my wife did 2 weeks ago. That's the first time in a long time. But I like to, man, I just love to cook. I love it. I like to make I recipe books. I use Yumly and man, what's that other one I use? Yumly. That's it. Yumly is my newest one. It's a free app, and you put in whatever you want, Peter. Whatever Thai, Mediterranean, and boom, it'll pop up. We give you recipes, ingredients, and all that good stuff. Yeah, I'll go in there and yeah, put on some Frank Sinatra or something and just enjoy it, man. Nothing like the aroma, and good stuff, man. Cooking, love to cook, man.
Always makes the house smell good. We have other ways of making the house smell good too, though, but it's all personal choice.
It is absolutely it is.
Yep.
You're right, 110%. So, what's your favorite race you've ever been to in your life? Not you racing sidecars, period, but you going just to be a fan yourself.
Oh well, there's nothing can compare to the first couple Grand Prix I was at watching the Americans. I mean,
Yeah,
Kevin and Wayne, and I think Assen that year was pretty amazing. There was a pass in the last turn, and like I say, I always went over there. Schwantz, I think, cut it. I'm not sure who it was. Maybe it was Wayne cut it, but they got pushed off the track. It was amazing. So 1991, look that one up at Assen. That was a pretty amazing race. But when you're in the pits, you don't really get to see it as good as when you're a spectator.
yeah.
So I'd have to say, going all the way back to when I sat up on the hill at Laguna Seca and Sears Point and watched Kenny Roberts just flying around on the PZs. Yeah, there were 750s back then, 700s. Yep, they were amazing.
The old, yes. Sorry, Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, we just went to the 24-hour. It was amazing, but it's too much noise for my old ears.
Too much noise. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it, dude. That's good. So
no breaks. No. When's a pit stop? Is it going to get quieter?
I've been to Laguna Seca. I've only been once. I went in 2005 when MotoGP first come back. I had to go to that one. I was like, dude, I gotta go. I have to go. I've been there. I was there. That was my first time meeting Rossi, meeting John Hopkins, Max Biaggi, Sete Juvenile. My first Rossi helmet got signed, which I bragged about there. But I got my helmet signed, woo, all that good stuff. Yeah, Laguna Seca was, man, what a track. Same thing, so rich in history. It's like I said earlier, when you show up to Cadwell and you're walking around, you feel the energy and the history of the track, right? There's not many tracks that I've ever been to that I've ever felt that. Coda's not one. Absolutely not, right? The MotoGP, the bikes and the smell and just knowing you're there with them, it has a certain energy to it. But Laguna Seca and Cadwell Park, they are, it's just something so magical about them. I mean, the energy.
Yeah, going to Mossport for us when we'd race up in Canada. That's one of the original tracks that hasn't been changed much from the original layouts when the GP cars were there. That's a pretty special track. I raced that a couple times. That always has a soft spot in my heart for being able to go up there. And they still have racing there. You can go up and race. We're just not up in the northern part of the country anymore, so we don't go there, but they have big sidecar race up there. We had 29 sidecars up there once.
Nice.
The big field.
That's awesome. Listen, if you were a Marvel character, who would you be?
Who would I be? I don't know. Ann says Superman.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't watch much TV, do you, Peter?
No.
Yeah.
I really don't. We watch Fox News.
Sorry. No, you're good. I don't, man. Honestly, I don't watch the news at all. I just don't watch the news at all. I probably should, but I don't. Dustin says, Matt, the track manager is amazing as Peter put him on a sidecar. Yeah, and Matt is the manager of Laguna.
Yeah, awesome. That was my cardboard sign I told you about that I put out.
Oh, yep.
It says passenger needed. Yeah, worked out pretty good.
So us being lovers of cooking, you don't watch any cooking shows, man? I love watching some cooking shows now.
Ann watches it. I get
okay.
To see it inside.
Well, Ann, this question is for you. What's your favorite cooking show?
Holiday Bake-Offs. It just got over. She had that on forever.
Okay, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yep. Yeah, I've watched that several times. It's good. Yeah, I like that. So what's your favorite meal to cook, Peter? Like you're at home, you're gonna cook, be like, yeah, this is my go-to meal.
Oh, lamb. We have leg of lamb. Good lamb chops. We have lamb chops once a week, no matter what.
Oh,
And,
okay, okay,
and then a filet mignon is always the best if you're going to buy beef. So just buy
right.
a couple nice fillets, do some mushrooms, make it easy.
That's
Sit
right.
down and enjoy the wine.
Yep.
Yeah. And we
Good
live in
stuff.
Fort Lauderdale. The restaurants around here are amazing. I mean, you could
Yeah.
go every night if you wanted to go out and eat a different place. But
Yeah, I grew up in Florida in Jacksonville. My dad,
mm,
obviously I grew up in the Navy. My dad was a fighter pilot, so uh
thank you for
yeah,
that.
yeah. Orange Park South is actually where we lived in Jacksonville. Yeah, I remember Florida very, very well. I really enjoyed my time there. I remember it rained every day just for a short period, and then the sun would come back out. I remember trying alligator for the first time and how tough it was, and my dad was like, he overcooked it, but it's kind of naturally chewy anyway, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, just had it 2 nights ago.
did you?
Yeah.
Man, I
15th
had
Street Fisheries right there.
nice.
Yeah,
I
they're
made
good.
that's something I wish we had out in Virginia, even though we're close to Virginia Beach, like 4 hours, man. Like I would love to get like a proper fish and chips like in the UK or some mushy peas. Man, I miss that, the curry and all that good stuff. We would just yeah, some of my friends said Long John Silver's. Man, you know how long it's been since I ate at Long John Silver's? It's been at least 15 years. I just don't do fast food. It's very
Mm.
rarely you'll ever see me eat fast food at all.
Well, when the job, I think it's pretty much where you are in your job. If you, I work swing, so we had 4 nights a week, years and years ago, and we ate 2 nights a week at Taco Bell, Kentucky Fried once, and 101 fish and chips. That was our normal weekly meals during work. And I really did love Taco Bell, but those days are gone.
No more Taco Bell.
No more. Diane doesn't let me go to Taco Bell.
That's hilarious. What's your go-to fast food you go to then?
The only thing we eat from McDonald's is egg McMuffin when we're on the road. It's our special treat. We're driving, when we fill up diesel, we run over and get an egg McMuffin. We go to Bucky's though. We always got to go to Bucky's.
Oh, dude, Bucky, don't even stop. I love, but Bucky's is one of my favorite gas station in the world. Who don't love Bucky's? I wish we had one here.
Yeah, you pull right across the street from Barber. They built one. I mean, you leave the track.
Oh.
There's one right there, and there's 2 tracks. There's 3 of them between here and going up to Barber. So it's Bucky's all the way.
Bucky's, dude. I got a Bucky's t-shirt. It's
I'm
actually,
sure you do,
dude. I got a Bucky's t-shirt. I bought my wife a Bucky's t-shirt, and I also got I bought a Bucky lunchbox, dude. That's weird. Did you just see a thumbs up pop up
I
on the
saw a
screen?
thumbs up for a Bucky's.
Dude, yeah, I did that. I don't know how it's doing that. Like one day I did this and some hearts popped up. See,
There
look
they
at that.
are.
Dude, that's
Look at
crazy.
that.
Look at that, dude. Yeah. So
Let's
yeah,
put a beaver up there. See if Bucky shows up.
dude. Right, man. My t-shirt's in there. Otherwise, I would. Dude,
Yeah.
Bucky's is amazing. For those of you have never gone, please go see a Bucky's. It's man, the food's great. They got so much shit in there. It's like it's
Oh, the brisket. Oh my gosh. I can show you Bucky's. We got it in the freezer. We buy the yeah, it's true. I got 3 or 4 of them in the freezer. They're the chicken breasts, jalapeno wrapped and frozen, and you throw it. It's 2 people. It's just delicious. Jalapeno wrapped with cheese. Yeah.
So, do you like spicy food?
I do.
Like,
I
what
do
level
not.
of spice are we talking?
Not really hot. We don't do Chinese that often, so I'll do the Szechuan and stuff like that. But that's just pretty
Yeah,
mild
that's
compared
not
to
hot.
yeah.
Yeah, that's nothing.
It's not hot. Anne doesn't like hot at all.
Okay.
So I like a good chili relleno though when I go out for Mexican food.
Dude, who don't love
here.
Mexican? I love Mexican food. It's
Yeah, they stuff them with shredded chicken here.
Oh, that sounds good.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Chili rellenos, dude, with some cheese dip, yes, and a good margarita. Shoot, you got me in the mood for a Mexican, boy. That's what I'm talking about. Actually, tonight for dinner, I'm doing.
Buy the pitcher, man. It's always worth it to buy the pitcher
of margarita.
Margaritas, yeah,
absolutely, yeah. I'm doing. I'm making some homemade fried pickles tonight. Yeah, I'm doing homemade fried pickles. And I think I was gonna do some flank steak, but my wife was like, I don't want to do no flank steak. So I think we're just gonna do a big salad and some fried pickles right tonight for dinner. But
Sounds
yeah,
perfect.
yeah, it's good. So me and my buddy, he lives down the street. 2 weekends ago, or was it last weekend? Um, we cook, so our sons hang out. That's who's over here playing my son's best friend. They're like 5 houses down. So we get up usually three times a month and cook. And because we like to cook together, and we always come up with like crazy ass recipes that our wives won't eat, right? But we'll do it just for us and then cook everybody else like hot dogs and burgers or whatever, right? So yeah, man, it's good stuff, dude. Peter, dude, this has been so awesome. I really enjoyed our time right here on the podcast. Hour and 45 minutes until I told you it was going to go by quick. And there's so much more to talk about. So we'll definitely do a part two. Can't wait till we meet in real life with love in Jersey. I can't wait. We're going to have such a good time. And thank you
Got
again.
back-to-back weekends up there, so there's no excuse.
No excuse. I'll be there, dude. Trust me, I will be there. So, Peter, listen, why don't you tell everybody before we end this podcast how they can get into sidecars, and is there anything that you would like to say to anybody before we leave?
Well, Arma is like the #1 club that has sidecars, so that's why I'd recommend just coming out to an Arma race or reaching out to the school that they have there, and go to the website for Arma and keep your eyes open. Introduce yourself. You'll get a ride. I promise that. There's a lot of people that would take you for rides. I'm actually bringing a kid out from San Francisco who's kind of new to the sport to race at Roebling Road. So I'll give him an eye-opening ride this coming week. 2 weeks from now, it'll be fun. But I got a question for you.
Okay.
49ers or Chiefs?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Honestly, dude, I'm a LA Raider fan.
So you're not going to say the 49ers?
No, dude. For the Super Bowl, man, honestly, I'm gonna go with Kansas City. Because one of my buddies is a big Kansas City Chief fan. You know, my football is soccer. That's
sure.
what yeah, the Raiders always been my team because Bo Jackson. Where I grew up when Bo Jackson was baseball and football and the first really double superstar, right? But yeah, the only time I watch football, American handball, I'll say, is the Super Bowl.
Right.
One of my best friends.
I wouldn't watch it so much, but Ann loves it, so we end up watching almost every game.
And who's Ann's team?
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs. There you go. See, I made Ann's day. Let's go, Kansas City. Yes, let's go. And look. See, I told y'all I'm cheering them just for you. So yeah, it's.
But I was born in San Francisco, so there you go. You know, that's where it is.
But you know what though, man? Be honest with you, dude. Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, dude, Roger Lott, all them back in the day. They had a squad. So yes, I watched football back in the day because obviously speed vision wasn't really a thing, right? So they wasn't really televising, motors. Otherwise, I'd be watching them way back then. But yeah, of course, football was the thing, and soccer, right? A lot of my friends give me a hard time about soccer, like all soccer sucks. I'm like, dude, soccer's a badass sport. Get out my face.
It is an amazing game.
Yeah. Absolutely, it is. This is my Neymar Jr. because dude, Messi's my favorite. I like Neymar, Mbappe. Yeah,
he lives right down there.
Messi. Who does? Does he really? Yeah, he's in Inter
Miami.
Inter Miami's my favorite MSL team,
and they practice right over there.
Dude,
in Fort Lauderdale. I don't know which way the fingers are going, but yeah, he lives there and he practices there.
Dude, listen, I'm jealous again, 110%. Matter of fact, listen, it's a dream of mine to come down there and go see an Inter Miami game. So maybe we can get together and go watch one time. I would
absolutely let me know.
I will. It'd be awesome because my son's into soccer too. So it'd be me, him, and my wife. And yeah, we'll have a good time. Dustin says, love you, Peter. And what's up, Miguel? Miss you too. And I will get in touch with you, bud. Great podcast. Thank you so much, Dustin. It means a lot. Yes. So before I get off here, obviously, there's a couple things I want to say. Anybody out there that wants to support us here on the podcast. You can go buy all our merch at theclothingkings.co.uk that you can buy t-shirts, hats, beanies, jackets, body warmers, all that good stuff. Be greatly appreciated to help us out for sure. Again, listen, I don't never tell anybody to go hit the like and subscribe bell and all that. I just want to do it all naturally and just let it be the way it is. But what I do want to say, and I say it all the time, is how much I appreciate every single one of you guys giving me all the support and all the love that you guys do. It really means a lot to me. I get messages all the time telling me, just how great the podcast is and how much they enjoy it. And again, I never thought in a million years I'd actually be doing this. So to be able in this situation to be able to do it and having all my mega people behind me, it's simply amazing. And every single one of you guys watching and that's listening and that's going to be listening in the future, all you guys are super mega and amazing, and you guys make it. You are the ones that are super mega, not me. I'm just here trying to do my thing. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And Peter, again.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This is great.
Yeah, I can't wait to do part 2. So your first podcast, it was good, right?
First podcast. Yep. Thank you very much.
All right, let's go. So listen, everybody, thank you again for watching. And this episode will be out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, all that good stuff. If you get a chance to watch it now live, as soon as this video ends, you go right back to YouTube and watch it, or Facebook. And again, it'll be out on all social media, all listening platforms but Apple. I need somebody out there to help me figure out my getting my image into my RSS feed, and then I will be on Apple. But anyway, enough of that. I will see you guys next week because we got many more podcasts coming up. And thanks you guys again. I hope everybody enjoys their Sunday.
In the gas.
In the gas, baby. You